The United States cannot defeat its rivals in the coming century without greater immigration. How do we know? Because immigrants were the essential ingredient in defeating America's rivals in the 20th century, the 19th century, and before. The North doesn't defeat the South without Irish, British, and German immigrants fighting for Abraham Lincoln. And the USA doesn't defeat the Nazis without Polish, Jewish, and Italian immigrants in the US Army. This isn't just a story of manpower. This is the story of bravery and patriotism in melting pot America. Historically, immigrants have been more likely to volunteer for the US military than native-born Americans. In the Civil War, 43% of the US military were immigrants, or the sons of immigrants, yet only 13% of US citizens were foreign-born. Historians have amassed evidence that, quote, whole ethnic regiments, chiefly Irish and German, sustained the Union cause. In fact, there were more immigrants in 10 square miles of Lower Manhattan than the entire Confederacy. They were also awarded a disproportionately high number of medals. Of the 1,522 Medals of Honor awarded during the Civil War, 369 of them were to foreign-born American citizens. Fast forward to World War I. In 1917, before America entered the conflict, only 128,000 men were in the U.S. Army and 67,000 in the National Guard. Who would fight for their country? Historians Alexander Barnes and Peter Belmonte estimate that 800,000 immigrants joined the Army. Men born in 46 different nations fought in combat wearing a U.S. uniform. In World War II, President Harry Truman made a point of publicly awarding the Medal of Honor in person to Macario Garcia, a Mexican national who would later go on to become an American citizen. Garcia earned his Medal of Honor for single-handedly charging and clearing 2 machine gun nests on the outskirts of Grossau, Germany. A full 20% of all Medals of Honor have been awarded to first-generation immigrants. When you include second-generation immigrants, the ratio is closer to 50%. Consider the Band of Brothers, the Men of Easy Company, featured in the HBO miniseries. Almost all of the enlisted troops in Easy Company were the sons of immigrants. Percani, Luz, Liebgott, Sobolewski, Spears, Garnier. A more recent example is France Hoang. Hoang was a 2-year-old refugee from Vietnam in the early 1970s. He became a U.S. citizen and eventually graduated from West Point. He served as a U.S. Army officer in Bosnia, became an attorney in the White House, and then volunteered to go on active duty once again as a U.S. Army Special Forces soldier in Afghanistan. The patriotism of immigrants may come as a surprise, given the concern that immigrants don't assimilate well. That's what they call fake news. My colleague David Brady and I commissioned a YouGov survey in 2020 that oversampled foreign-born Americans to learn more. Consider the statement, quote, "The U.S. is an exceptional country." Only 7 in 10 U.S. citizens agreed, compared to 8 in 10 older native-born citizens. In contrast, more than 8 in 10 foreign-born Americans agreed. Similarly, 84% of foreign-born Americans agreed that, quote, "The U.S. Constitution is the best form of government." That's nearly 20 points higher than the response from Americans in their teens and 20s. In every case, immigrant Americans expressed the most patriotic sentiment. Americans would be wise to reflect on immigrant patriotism, evidence that the assimilation system is working and working well. Anyone thinking about grand strategy sees the advantage here. Immigrants put the power in superpower.